Hey guys, welcome to MyAirbags. I'm Eli, and today I'm going to show you how to remove the airbag module on this Chevy Colorado. On this Chevy Colorado, these are the tools that I'm going to use. I've got my power drill here, your flathead, a flashlight, a socket with a 10mm. Towards the end of the video, I talk about the seatbelt. You're going to need these two to remove the seatbelt. Now, anytime we work with the airbag system, we want to make sure we disconnect the battery first. However, on this car, we're going to do that a little bit later because the front driver's seat is powered, and we're going to keep the battery on just for the first few steps of the removal process. I went ahead and moved the two front seats upwards a little bit just so you can see this little bolt that's hidden right behind this little panel tab right here. I'm going to use a little pry tool that I have here. You can use anything that has a nice thin flat head to it, and you can get right in here, get underneath it, and just pry it up just like this, and it's going to come off. It's going to look just like this. I'm going to use my 10mm along with my power drill. There's the first one. Let's do the same thing on the other side. Now we're going to have 6 more of these throughout the rest of the center console. Let's go up to the front seat. Okay, here's what you need to know. When the car gets into an accident, there's 3 main things that could be causing the light to be on: the airbags, the airbag computer module, and the seat belts. Any deployed airbags must be replaced with new airbags. You can buy a new airbag module. The problem is they cost up to a few $100s, plus you have to pay a dealership technician to go in and program it to your car. In other words, you have to marry the new unit to your car. Here at MyAirbags.com, we work closely with body shops, collision shops, and salvage rebuilders in all 50 states. Instead of buying a new airbag computer, we can actually reset your original airbag module. In other words, we clear it of all codes. And because it's original to your car, programming is not necessary. Seatbelts also deploy, and they throw trouble code. Instead of buying expensive replacements, you can actually send in your seatbelts along with your module. Our seatbelt techs are licensed, and they hold an ATF certification. This means that after your seatbelts are rebuilt, they will work again as designed. They will deploy in another accident event. Right after I remove this airbag module, stick around and we'll take a peek at the seatbelts. If you want to know more, just click on the link in the description below, or just go to MyAirbags.com. Move the seat all the way back. Now that it's all the way back, we're going to go right down here, and this panel is going to come right off. It's held down just by some plastic tabs, so no worries if you hear some popping noises while I'm taking it off. You could use a flat bar to get underneath here. I'm just going to use my fingers to start from this angle right here and just pull up. You can hear that first pop. You're going to hear a few more. And no worries, that's just the panel popping right off. It's not screwed down or anything, it's just the way it comes off. And then once it's popped off all the way to the end right there, you want to slide this down and out. Like that. And you can see right here, those are the little tabs it was being held on to. So no worries, no screws. Next step, we want to get to these right here. I'm going to go ahead and take those right off. Again, using my 10mm socket. Now we have one more that's a little bit of a pain. And that's located right here in the middle, but between the seat and the console. I'll try to give you some good footage of what it looks like, but it's gonna be right in there. And on this side, you can use a socket, or you can use a power drill with an extender with your 10mm socket to get right in there. And I'll show you what I mean. Now this view is from the driver's seat, and we're gonna get to that bolt right there using an extender. We're gonna remove this panel as well, just like the other side. $10mm. And the final bolt is going to be right in here in the middle. On the front passenger seat, we're going to remove the last bolt. It's located approximately right here. We're going to get in there with a 10mm socket. I'm going to move the seat up a little bit so the wider part of the seat ends up right about there. And I can get in there a little bit easier now. There's that last, most complicated bolt right there. Next step is to go ahead and move this little trim panel right up. It's not held down by any screws at all. It's held down by tabs. And we're gonna just grab it firmly right here, and you're gonna wanna pull up towards yourself and upwards. So just like this, grab it firmly, and you can wiggle it, and it'll come off just like that. And you can see it's just held down by these tabs right here, 6 of them. And you can just snap it right back into place once you're putting it all back together. Let's go disconnect the battery now. Now normally this is the most important step of them all, is to disconnect the battery from the car. We saved this step for later because of the seats. We're gonna go ahead and do this now. And we're gonna go ahead and disconnect the battery. You come in right over here. We have the battery right here, positive. Positive, negative. You're gonna use your 10mm socket. Loosen this up right here, and you'll be able to wiggle it out. Make sure you put it all the way aside. You could even cover this back up, so there's no possible way that makes connection with that contact during the removal. Let's go ahead and do the negative side as well. Wiggle it and move it all the way to the side, somewhere where there's no possible way where it'll come back and make contact with that. Let's go back in. Now that we removed all 8 bolts holding down the center console, we went ahead and removed this panel right here, and now the battery as well. We're going to go ahead and start pulling up the whole center console. And the way I'm going to do that is just grab one hand right up front here. The other hand I'm going to put behind the center console, all the way in the back. And I'll show you from a different angle in just a moment. I'm going to pull with my left and right hand right up. It's held down by some more tabs here, but they slide right out. And as you can see, it's semi-free at this point. I can move it around. The only thing holding it at this point is the cable wire running to the shift, and also plugs, wires that run to the USB, the aux, the 12 volt right in front here. And so basically there's 6 wires connecting it. You can take them apart very easily by pinching the harness right where it plugs in. There's a little pinch lock. You pinch it and you pull them out. You can do it with all 6 of them if you'd like. and that way you can remove the center console. Or in this case, what I'm gonna do is just leave those plugs plugged right in, and I'm going to just lift up the back of this just like this. Now you're gonna see the module right down here. The module is right here connected with those yellow wires, right? The yellow plugs, I'm sorry. Yellow plugs, also by some bolts, 3 of them right there. And before we get to that, I'm gonna need to put something here so I can easily remove it. I'm using this rubber, this little new clean rubber mat that I had laying around. I would recommend some kind of foam roller, like an exercise roller or a back foam roller, something that won't do any damage to the paneling while keeping it up so you can work on the actual module. So I'm gonna, again, pick up the console and just slide this right under, and it's gonna slide in just like this, and that's gonna keep it from going down. It's also gonna keep it from getting damaged right there. Now if you come with me to the back seat, I'll show you a better angle of how I'm doing this as well. Now that we can clearly see the module, we're going to go ahead and make sure that at this point the car is powered down. There's no power going to the module. The reason for that is because the module is designed to lay flat on the frame of the vehicle, just as it is now. So if it's laying flat in the frame of the vehicle like this, and if it's powered up, if we start removing it and moving it like this, it may think that the car is going into an accident or rolling over. In that case, it's going to go ahead and deploy the airbags. We don't want to do that, especially if we're rebuilding the car and we had just put in new airbags or seatbelts even as well. So we want to make sure the car is powered down completely. Let's go ahead and start removing the plugs. The plugs are right up here in front. They're always yellow, and you want to start by pressing on this button here. You're actually going to pull it down away from the lever, pull it down just like that. The lever is going to be unlocked at this point. You can go ahead and pull that down as well, and it will unplug just like that. We're going to do the same thing on this side. There's a little red button you can't see from that angle, but I'm going to pull it away from the lever, pull the lever down. The module is unplugged. Let's go ahead and remove the 3 bolts holding down the module. I'm going to use a 10mm. The module will slide right up, just like that. If your car was in an accident, the dealership may tell you that this module has to be replaced. You can replace it at the dealership, but it may cost you a couple $100. We do have an alternative to that. We can actually reset your original module. We've been resetting modules like this since 2006. We can reset your module free of hard codes and soft codes. We can also rebuild the seatbelts. The seatbelts do deploy after an accident as well. You can send in the module and both seatbelts in for a reset. Many of our customers are automotive professionals, body shops, collision shops, mechanics that use our service to save hundreds on each car they work on. We've been providing this service since 2006. When you send in your module and seatbelts in for a reset and rebuild, we will go ahead and service it and send it back out to you within 24 hours. It comes with a satisfaction guarantee, and we do offer a warranty on everything we repair and reset. This Chevy Colorado is like most newer cars. It's gonna have a dual stage seatbelt system. That means basically there's 2 parts that deploy, not just the seatbelt that comes over your shoulder, also an anchor tensioner that sits right under here. We're not going to remove it, but we are going to take a quick look. You want to take your flathead and start right here where the split is. Get underneath and just pry up just like that. You can use a flat bar, that works very well as well. That's pretty much all I need to get started. I want this panel right here. So I'm going to keep popping this right up, all the way up to the side. I guess I need my flat bar or flat head to keep working this up. It's held down by tabs, just like most of the other panels we've worked on today. And as you apply pressure, you start hearing some popping noises. That's all for the front. We're gonna go to the back. Before you go there, I want you to remember what this looks like. This is the second part of the seatbelt. I'm gonna show you the main part, but don't forget about this anchor tensioner. Basically, you're gonna want to remove this part right here. It's held by a T30 bit. In order to remove that part from the paneling, you're gonna wanna remove it here so it can slip over. You don't wanna send in this panel in shipping. You just wanna send in just the parts that deployed and need to be rebuilt. So we're gonna remove the seatbelt part from the anchor tensioner. So in summary, this car has a dual stage seatbelt system, meaning it has two parts that deploy. The way we're going to identify that is each part is going to have an orange or yellow plug that goes into it. This part has one. It's right below this paneling. And the seatbelt itself is going to have one. We're going to stop here for a second and put on a 7mm to get that bolt right there. Normally that screw right there would just fall if you can't get to it. I'm going to use a little magnet flashlight to just grab it. And this paneling will come off as well just by squeezing these right here. This paneling will disconnect from the lower paneling. But without doing that, the seatbelt gets removed right here in this part. Make sure you put the bolts back in when you remove it, just so you don't lose it. If you come down here, this is the main seatbelt pretensioner unit. Basically, this is the part that deploys, the main part. All newer cars will have this part at least. Many more newer cars will have 2 or even 3 parts that deploy. The way that you will know whether it's a single or dual or triple stage seatbelt is simply counting these yellow or orange plugs right here. These are the plugs that go into the pretensioner unit. This cable wire comes from the module, from the airbag system, letting it know to deploy. This part right here, these plugs are what you want to count to find out whether your seatbelt is a single, dual, or triple stage seatbelt. Most newer cars will be dual stage. There's one plug here, and there's another plug on that anchor tensioner that I showed you earlier. You can take off both parts and send them in together. So in summary, you want to remove the seatbelt by disconnecting this bolt, the paneling for the anchor tensioner, and you want to come up here and disconnect these bolts. Once you remove the seatbelt, put these bolts right back in there and keep them there until the seatbelts return to you. Hey guys, if you're sitting there with a question in mind, go to MyAirbags.com and click on Help. On there, you can type in a keyword or a question, and most likely the right answer will pop up right for you. If it doesn't, we're always here on the phones. You can email us, chat with us, or you can even just text us. We're always here to help you, MyAirbags.com. Now's the time to give us a big like, subscribe to our channel. We have more videos just like this. Comment. I really enjoy reading your comments. This is Eli with MyAirbags.com. Save time and money on your next project.